A very warm welcome to everyone watching this program. Today I am going to make a brief presentation on investor education in India, its relevance and roadmap. I feel that this is a relevant topic for all of us as we all make investment decisions and we need to be aware about what factors need to be taken when we make those decisions. Structure of this presentation is going to be, I have divided this presentation in 4 broad parts. First part is going to be the background. Then we are going to discuss on the status of investor education and financial literacy from the global perspective and from Indian perspective. We would be subsequently discussing about the relevance of investor education. This is again going to be from investor perspective as well as from the government perspective. And finally, we are going to discuss about the roadmap for investor education and financial literacy in India. So let's begin. To start with, I'll give you a quick background about what is financial education and investor education all about. As you would be aware, many of us would be aware, financial education is actually a process. This leads to the achievement of financial literacy, which in turn leads to the financial well-being of investors or individuals. As a significant part of financial education is investor education, which we are concerned about for today's presentation. I'll give a quick background on how we define financial literacy. So, as per globally accepted definition of financial literacy, it's a combination of 5 factors: awareness, knowledge, skill, attitude and behavior, which are necessary to make sound financial decisions and ultimately achieve individual financial well-being. This is the overall broader perspective of financial literacy. Investor education and financial education, as I told earlier, are the process which lead to financial literacy. So if we are to draw down upon a definition of investor education, we can sum it up as the process by which through information, instruction and or objective advice, potential and existing investors improve their understanding of investment products, concepts and risks, and develop the skills and confidence to become more aware of investment risks and opportunities, to make informed choices, to know where to go to seek advice, and to take other effective action to improve their long-term financial well-being. A related concept to financial education is financial inclusion. As we are aware, India is doing exceedingly well in terms of financial education as a result of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. In the broader perspective, financial literacy and financial inclusion form a dyad which is necessary for ensuring financial well-being of individuals. As you may be aware, financial inclusion as an enabler for inclusive growth and financial well-being of Indians is a national priority of Government of India. Investor education awareness in that perspective is a subset of financial education, and as various function transaction of finance such as related to banking, investment, insurance, pension, remittance, etc. are closely interlinked, and as it's the same individual we all make decisions who have to take decision for herself or himself. Program of investor education are not solely focused on investment per se, but these programs are more encompassing, covering other aspects of finances as well. With this background, I would briefly discuss about the status of financial education and financial literacy across globe and in India. In a recent survey done in 2020, it was found, and this was a survey of the OECD, it was found that globally about 12.7 was the score on a global score of 21. That is to say that on a 100% score of financial literacy, 12.7 by 21 was the score of financial literacy globally. If we are to just discuss about the threshold financial literacy score, then globally about 53% of the people are financially literate as per financial knowledge. About 50% on the financial behavior parameter, and financial attitude, it's about 43%. This is a relevant figure because if we see the figures of the Indian population, it's quite comparative. In 2019, NCFE had carried out a survey on financial literacy status of India. and it found out that on financial attitude, about 89% of the respondent had scored the threshold minimum. About 53% of the Indians had scored the threshold score on financial behavior, and about 49% had scored on financial knowledge. So this is quite comparative if we compare the global figures. In very recent time, IICA, IEPFA had also carried out a survey, and as compared to the 12.7 out of 21 score, what the survey brought out about India was that Indian on an average scored 12 out of 21 on financial literacy score. This tells about the status of financial literacy level in India. But there is significant aspect that still huge number of population of India are lacking required financial literacy. And what we need to keep in mind is that there is huge population, and we need, if we wanted to cover all the segments of population, we need to be focusing on different aspects of financial education and investor education. I'll discuss briefly about the relevance of investor education from the investor perspective and from the government perspective. So as I just indicated, financial education and investor education, these topics are very relevant. Why these are relevant? Because we all make financial decision and investment decisions, and this is also relevant because in our day-to-day lives we are always struggling with finances. At least a large segment of India is struggling with managing the finance. So if we are to discuss about the relevance of investor education from investor perspective, investor education is helpful for investors in the sense that it makes the investors aware of the financial risk they are confronted with, and they are able to evaluate the risk and return, which is relevant and which is important, as we just heard in a few previous discussion related to Ponzi scheme. Often there are people who are floating Ponzi schemes. They promise huge return, but actually those returns are not very realistic. So one needs to be mindful that very high returns always comes with very high risk. Investor education from investors perspective is also important for understanding the balance of risk and reward as discussed, and it also helps in recognizing the market fluctuations are normal. It also helps in acknowledging the limitations of investment and knowing who to trust to provide unbiased and objective advice. It also helps investors in better equipping to recognize and avoid frauds and scam, and eventually it helps investors detect and avoid suspected fraudulent activity, which in turn is helpful for the government in managing these kind of issues related to investment. As a result of sound investor education, it is expected that consumer complaints will reflect genuine breaches in consumer protection and regulation, reducing the burden on Ombudsman and Consumer Complaints Bureau, and increasing the speed with which genuine problems are resolved. So this is the relevance of investor education from investor perspective. There is no gainsaying that investor education is significant from government perspective also. If you are to just evaluate a few points why it is also important from government perspective, we can read out that it helps in supporting informed and effective participation of consumers in retail investment markets. For emerging economies in particular, it encourages participation of local investors in domestic capital markets, which increases the depth of the capital market and make them less dependent on external factors, more resilient to global financial shocks, as capital markets development tend to lower the sensitivity of asset return to global financial condition. Such programs of investor education also contribute to effectively financial markets regulation, as educated investors can support securities market regulators by spotting and reporting frauds and scams. So what is significant is that in current age, investor education is relevant, very relevant, and the agencies, regulated and statutory agencies like IEPFA, financial sector regulators like RBI, SEBI, and specialized agencies like NCFE, they need to focus on investor education in particular, and broadly they need to focus on financial education of the population of India. With this background of what is financial education, financial literacy all about, I would just indicate where are we in terms of the roadmap of investor education and financial literacy. what we need to be aware about, there are three aspects of the roadmap of investor education and financial literacy. One is the theoretical basis. This is about research and studies being carried out. What are the policy initiatives which have taken place in India per se, and actively what has been done by IEPFA, and then what are the practical actionable points related to investor education. If we just go through the theoretical basis, globally numerous papers and research studies have been published and on program of investor education and financial education, and they all point that program of financial literacy and financial education are very helpful for enabling the investors and general public in evaluating various aspects related to investment and making financial decision. In India also, especially from IPFA perspective, what we have done is we have been carrying out research in relevant areas of investor education and financial education, and a few of the significant studies undertaken by us relate to safeguards against Ponzi scheme and financial fraud, studies on enabling digital financial transactions which is more efficient for users as well as financial system, studies on helping understand, manage and mitigate risk arising from making risky investment in securities market, study on financial resilience of individuals, especially in a crisis situation such as the one created by COVID-19 recently, and helping in better management of financial fragility. These are a few of the areas on which we are currently carrying out research, and in the areas in which we have recently carried out research. Just to illustrate, recently we carried out a research on the developments taking place in India at the macroeconomic level and developments taking place in the Indian security market. And we found that India was technically in recession in the year 2020-21 because there was negative growth in 2 quarters. But at the same time, we saw huge growth in Indian securities market. We did some research and we found out that actually the increase in trading volumes is largely also on account of investment in inferior quality stocks, how we defined as Z category stocks, reduction in percentage of deliveries in cash segment, and exclusive dependency of investors on financial advisors, facilitators, firms in the form of distributors. We also found out that quite a large segment of population, because there was restriction on the physical movement, people were at home and they were getting access to advices on social media. So as they had some saving because they were not spending on the regular expenditure related to going out and other things, so they started dabbling into investment, and these investments were largely into Z category shares and intraday trading shares. This suggests that a lot needs to be done to augment the investors' understanding of investment related risks, financial markets, financial instruments and process of investing, so that their financial well-being are not compromised in the long run. In my last role as CEO of NCFE, when I was working there, we worked on the development of new national strategy for financial education. And we found out that actually this is a very significant aspect in laying down the roadmap for a country like India. So the National Strategy on Financial Education, this was for the period 2020-25. This has been approved by TGFIFL and FSDC and Ministry of Finance. So now we have an approved document for the Pan-India Financial Education, Investor Education. This national strategy focuses on 5 pillars. These 5 pillars are content, collaboration, communication, capacity and community. These pillars lay the foundation around which the programs of financial education needs to be rolled out, and the national strategy has come out on a year-wise targeted objective plan that needs to be achieved for taking us to the next level at the end of 2025. I'll like to briefly indicate in this regard also about the role of IPFA in investor education and protection before I move on to what are the roadmap for IPFA in terms of national strategy on financial education. IPFA is a statutory body which, while administering the IEPF, Investor Education and Protection Fund, facilitates investor education and protection of investor interest by broadly 2 modes. One is it is eventually managing the fund IEPF and is responsible for refund in respect of unclaimed dividends, matured deposits, matured debentures, the application money due for refund and interest thereon. This is one aspect when it comes to managing the fund. Another significant aspect is related to conducting of investor awareness programs for investors to enlighten them about issues related to finance about which they need to be mindful and be watchful. So what IPFA is doing, because there is huge need for investor education in a country like India, it's working with partner organizations like ICSI, ISCI, CSE and numerous other institutions like banks. So the idea is that we should be reaching out to far and wide segments of population so that everyone becomes aware about investor education and what they need to be mindful of when they make investments. In this regard, when we discuss about what needs to be a roadmap for investor education and protection fund, we have come out as an indicative strategy, as also an indicative action plan. A few of the broad themes of that action plan on which we are working is setting up more focused training program for the resource person that we have, as also having a media cell. We already have a media cell in IPFA. We are working on more broad basing that media cell so that more focused program could be conducted. A few of the other programs on which we are working is development of model code of conduct, carrying out action research and other significant areas. What we are also focusing on carrying out research in relevant areas so that more focused policy advisory could be provided to IPFA and Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Just to illustrate as a part of what action plan we have come up with, a project which we are working on is related to taking the program of investor education, especially focusing on digital financial transaction to the rural areas. So this program would be focusing on providing relevant investor education and financial education to the panchayat members, to the farmers, to the inhabitants of rural region, so that they are empowered and they become a kind of tool for promoting digital financial transaction in the area of inhabitation. What is significant for this program is that there have been many programs like this. What we are planning to do is that this should be an action based program. So instead of just providing classroom teaching, we would be taking our programs to the ground level and we would be actually showing to the farmers and to the rural inhabitants how the digital financial transaction is to be done by forming groups of farmers and panchayat members and enabling and empowering them how to do this digital financial transaction. It's also relevant to keep in mind that the requirement of investor education, if we, there is one broad theme of providing investor education and financial education, but underlying the theme of broader financial education and investor education is the segmented approach which needs to be taken care of when we discuss about different segments of society, for example, in terms of age group, in terms of gender, in terms of location and location of population. So, for example, just to illustrate, a requirement of youth may be different from a requirement of an old age person. Some people need to be emphasized upon carrying out investment in the securities market, while a few need to be just be mindful of keeping their funds safe and secure, while a few other segments needs to be mindful of investing in pension fund. So we have come up with a few way forwards which needs to be taken into account when we are discussing about financial education and investor education. An indicative roadmap which we have come up, especially from the IPFA perspective, covers a few areas such as we need to catch young. This is to state that we need to be focusing on providing investor education and financial education to the younger segment of population, going down to as low as the school level. In India, we have been focusing on the school education, how investor education and financial education could be made part of the course curriculum. But significantly, there hasn't been so much of development. What is being planned that under the new education policy, this would get more focused approach. There would be more focused approach on including investor education, financial education, so that larger population of India become empowered of making financial decision at a very early stage. We have found that in many of the lower income group population, actually the younger generation are more tech savvy instead of the older generation. For example, in low income group people, the younger generation, they are very tech savvy in terms of using their smartphones, and they are very comfortable in making digital financial transaction, but their parents may not be so comfortable. So the idea is, if you are able to reach out to the younger generation, they in turn would be providing the practical learning tools to their parents and to the elders in their family. So the focus should be on catching them young. We need to be reaching diverse segment of population based on regions, as I just indicated. There may be different requirements of the people staying in rural region as compared to staying in the urban region. Especially also, if we are to just cover the urban regions, the requirement of financial education may be different in urban slums as compared to a relatively better off locality in the urban areas. So we need to be mindful of the requirement and then accordingly tailor make our programs of investor education and financial education. We need to be also focusing programs based on gender. In the recent few years, in the last decade or so, we are aware that financial inclusion has gained momentum, and this has shown that actually women are quite capable of making financial decisions in terms of investment, in terms of utilization of fund, as also in terms of creating assets for their family. So this brings to attention that that segment of our population needs to be made aware about various risks and various return associated with the investment and utilization of the fund. In the new age, women are important force of the economic decisions, and we need to be also mindful of their needs. We also need to keep in mind the requirement of different income levels. For example, a person of low income level may have different investment requirements as compared to a person of the higher income level. So accordingly, we need to define and redefine our investor education programs. It has been also noted that till very recently, most of the programs of financial education and investor education, they were provided in a classroom fashion or by using the method of physical interaction. What COVID-19 has thrown up is an opportunity where we can use digital means as also IT tools for providing financial education and investor education. So we need to focus on using IT tools for providing investor education, so that we bring efficiency into the system of providing investor education. We, in a country like India with about 1.3 billion population, the requirement of investor education and financial education is huge. There is always going to be more requirement of financial resources as also HR resources. So in this regard, we need to be mindful that we need to put all the stakeholders under the same roof, and we need to bring all the stakeholders on the same page on providing programs of investor education. We need to pull our resources, as also we need to bring other resources that we have, not only financial but also other resources, the expertise that we have developed, the lessons that we have learned in other parts of the world, for providing more meaningful investor education and financial education in a country like India. As I indicated, digital financial transaction is an important tool, and this not only supports government initiative, as we have seen in digital digital benefit transfer, direct benefit transfer using digital means, but it also helps in changing the behavior of users. Imagine it has been studied quite extensively that one of the reasons why microfinance has become successful was because the finance was taken to the door of users. Similarly, it was also studied that actually if you wanted to access the banking services, earlier one needed to go to the banks. Now for low income people, those who earn on a daily basis, it meant an opportunity cost. What the new model of financial inclusion has shown is that the banking has been taken to the doorstep of the users, and this has helped in bringing efficiency into the entire operation of banking services. These kind of services need to be promoted more, and for optimum utilization of these resources, it's important that programs of financial education and investor education be taken to those segments of the population. We also need to undertake more path-breaking research to gain insight into developing better understanding of investor and financial education and financial inclusion while carrying out policy changes in the area related to investor education and protection. I would sum up my presentation with this theme, that we need to be mindful of the investor education requirement of large segment of population, and while being mindful of the investor education requirement of the large segment, we also need to be mindful on the other hand with specific and very focused and targeted requirement of different segment of investors and population, so that we are able to meet the requirements of all segments of population. Thank you. Jai Hind.